Mark, can we give a hand to Mark?
The second Daring Do episode.
Yes.
Where we meet her as a real person.
Yes.
What was the thinking behind that? I have a confession. I watched it. I disliked it, as many of our staff in our executive board will tell you. I may have promised violence upon your person. and then we invited you as a guest. So, but I do actually want to know, what was the thinking behind making her a real character, where Ahuizotl actually existed in Equestria, which threw up some interesting conundrums for me. Because, of course, how does a person like Ahuizotl control the sun with that item when Celestia controls the sun? And how did it affect in your mind the development of the characters that we see grow over the seasons? That's not much like a character in the kitchen, but who just stands aside and does nothing?
Well, you're asking a bunch of different questions, which I can try to address individually. Number one, Ahuizotl has the pretense of controlling the sun. That doesn't mean that he controls the sun. Just because he has the claim and the delusion and the self that he can control the sun, doesn't mean that he can control the sun. Any more than any delusional person, the claims that they make are you know, there's nothing in how the episode plays out that he's delusional, but there is the potential there. But Celestia has it under control in the sense that she has Daring Do handling it. Now, if Celestia, now this is me all spinning like an explanation. The point is, you know, that I don't want any letters going to Hasbro saying Polsky confirms that blah 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 blah. That's not. I'm just saying, as a creator, here's how I can justify it. That if the relationship is as follows, that Ahuizotl has this delusion, yet there is the shred of possibility that he can make stuff happen. There's the concern that he could make stuff happen, unleash this heat and so forth and so on. Celestia has it covered, probably. The way she's covering it is a first line of defense by having Daring Do involved. Doesn't mean that she wouldn't back Daring Do up if something terrible happened. I'm simply saying that there's, you know, a lot of times I want to come back to Goethe's question is like, and I want to get back to how we criticize things. Like, a lot of times what happens, we watch something and we don't like it. And so number three, we answer question number 3 first. Question number 3 is, was it worth doing? Hell no, it wasn't worth doing. This violates my headcanon. So then, everything else in the analysis of the episode follows from that initial conclusion. I don't like it because it violates my headcanon, now let me poke holes in it. I'm not saying that's a bad thing to do. It challenges everybody to raise their game. But what I am saying is that according to Goethe, that's not the way to approach it. The way to approach it is, how is what they're doing potentially right? And I may not like it in the end anyway, but how is it potentially right? And so this is how I'm saying this. So if we like it, we look for ways that it's right. If we don't like it, we look for ways that it's wrong. And so actually, so that's sort of the meta thing around this, which is to examine how we approach something. If we're automatically approaching it with a bias, if we're saying, I didn't like it and I want to justify my not liking it. That's automatically a biased response. Or I like it and I want to justify liking it. Automatically biased. It doesn't mean we can't come up with interesting questions and answers, but it's automatically biased. I think we kind of have to agree on that.
You sort of have to see the bias, ignore it, and look at both sides, and then come to an agreement.
And then, yeah, and then you have a conversation, and it kind of sorts it out. So now, now, so that's kind of the meta answer. Now, with our individual question, so that's my response in Awizoto. How is it right that we made that decision? And I think there is an explanation for how it's right. What were the other questions about the episode?
It was just, what was your thinking behind the, supposed to be sort of character development with the main six? And then they're sort of standing aside, and I was trying to think, just stand aside, get involved, and formulate a message.
That scene, our justification is that they're in awe. They're still processing what's happening. That much like the audience, the actual audience of My Little Pony, the human audience, what the hell? She's real. She's not real. Blah blah blah. They're trying to process what's happening. They're not grasping it immediately, and that's why they don't jump in right away. And also, one other meta answer I want to have is the reason we did it is because two reasons. One, because it seemed fun. It seemed like a different, surprising thing to do. And and for a creator, doing something different and surprising is actually really attractive. We're not looking to do something that services everything we already know about the show and fits within that is not that exciting to do. Now that doesn't mean we don't still try to conform to a canon, but if we sort of put our toe on the boundary line, that's actually kind of an exciting place to be as a creator. So I think we definitely towed the boundary line there. So one other thing, and I want to give everybody else a chance, but on why, so that's why we did it. It seemed fun, it seemed inventive, it seemed surprising, and we took a risk. Some people liked it, some people didn't, and that's the name of the game in creation when you're really doing it.
It's the rebellious side.
That's the rebellion and the fun together in one place.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Who is your favourite character to write for and why?
Well,